Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my review for the third episode of Better Call Saul Season 4. This one is called Something Beautiful. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys have not seen this episode yet for Better Call Saul Season 4. So, want to apologize for you guys. I've been watching Better Call Saul each week, but I didn't get a review done last week for Episode 2 of Season 4 for Better Call Saul. And not because the episodes haven't been good. I think Season 4 so far has been really good for Better Call Saul, especially this third episode, and what we saw happen at the end of the second episode there with the, Gus in absolute savage mode. Because that's one thing about Gus, right? And I've always liked about him as a villain is that in Breaking Bad, there are moments when he seems like the nicest kind of guy, somebody who you could trust, somebody who you could do business with, somebody who you could confide in, and then other times he'll just take like an X-Acto knife and just slit some dude's throat, so he's just, he's an awesome villain in that he can play both parts really well. He's somebody that could wander into a high school to go see a chemistry teacher and no one would think anything to the wiser. And then yet he's somebody also that can have his goons, his dudes, choke people to death with bags, right? Plastic bags. So that was really cool. So, cool, but brutal at the end of the second episode. And going into the third episode, we see basically the continuation of that as Gus has Victor and Tyrus. He takes Nacho, so they take Nacho. And they basically set up a scene. You don't really know what you're watching until they get right into it and they start shooting and everything. And pretty brutal kind of car crash type of scene to make it look legit, make everything look 100%. It's all good from their perspective. So Nacho finds himself in a pretty bad way, and it's got to look real, and it certainly does. And then you see the twins go after him afterwards and find him and kind of help him and save him and everything. So Nacho's gonna survive on it. People corrected me that Nacho is actually alive in Breaking Bad. We just don't get to see him, but he's mentioned, right? So there's that. And I think probably the biggest part of this episode, or the thing most people are going to remember the most, is the first kind of appearance in Better Call Saul, I believe, of Gale, because we've never seen him in Better Call Saul, and it threw me through a loop kind of to see him because it's been so long since those episodes in Breaking Bad. I mean, geez, if you want to look back to Gale's time in Breaking Bad, that was like, damn, how many years ago? Because this is the fourth season of Better Call Saul now, but that was like when Breaking Bad was on, and man, it's kind of unbelievable to think, because Breaking Bad got 5 seasons, and Better Call Saul is been renewed for a 5th season already, so we know that Better Call Saul is going to get at least 5 seasons, and it'll be interesting to see how many more characters they can kind of bring in here, and I thought it was really cool to see Gale, but it was kind of a bit of a tease, because I almost for a second thought that he might, I don't know, somehow they could bring Walter in or something, or, because the similarity between Gale and Walter, both being chemistry teachers, that kind of thing. But, it doesn't make sense because, of course, in Breaking Bad, Saul was the first one to kind of go see him in the first season there when stuff was just starting to get started with Walt. So it's kind of, I think everybody's kind of fan dream that eventually we could see Walter White in Better Call Saul, even if it's just for like a quick sequence or something, even if it's like in the last episode, like the series finale, you see him cross paths, even if they just walk by each other in a gas station or something, it'd be sweet, right? So that was really cool to see. He's like singing his chemistry song, right? Because he's such a weirdo. If you remember some of the parts that Gale had in Breaking Bad, he just had some funny kind of videos and such, right? So that's fun. That's going way back, and it felt very nostalgic for me to see him here in this episode because I haven't seen those episodes of Breaking Bad for a long time, and Breaking Bad is one of the all-time best shows for sure. And anytime they can bring in characters or they can do things in Better Call Saul that refer back to Breaking Bad, that's very cool because this is really the only way that universe is staying alive. It's not like they're ever going to redo Breaking Bad, or they're not going to do that. There's no way. So the only way we can really still experience content with regards to the Breaking Bad universe is through Better Call Saul. So it's cool every time they bring in some of these actors that had pretty big parts in Breaking Bad beforehand. So that was really cool to see him come back, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that one. It's just kind of things just getting rolling there with him, and they talk about the purity a little bit, and then it reminds you back to when Walter came in, and his purity was like so much better. So that's why Gus was like couldn't after a little while Coca-Cola right couldn't live without him type of deal. So and the question of suppliers and that with Gus because of what happened. And what's going on with everything with the cartel and all that. So it's good stuff. As far as the Jimmy stuff in this episode goes with Kim and that, Jimmy reads the letter from Chuck, kind of what he left him at the end of the episode here, and Kim gets very upset as he kind of reads through it, and then leaving Jimmy puzzled, but also leaving us as the audience kind of thinking, why is that? But that's not something that's kind of anybody who's married kind of knows. That's a lot of times that's how it goes. Like as a man, you could get really bad news, right? And then you feel like crying, but then as soon as your wife finds out, she starts crying like right away. It's like the emotional reaction, is a lot more, even if it's somebody on your side, let's say. That's happened to me personally in my life too. So, but then you see that kind of, it's like you want to console them, say it's okay, it's all right, this kind of thing. But then it's like someone on your side of the family or whatever, right? So, so we'll see what happens with that. And of course, I'm not sure entirely how much she knows about how the whole thing went down there with Chuck at the end, or if that matters, or if that's why she's upset, or what she thinks is going to happen here. Of course, she did get the information that the contract she's got there and that they're working on, right? Mesa Verde. It looks to be like they're expanding very quickly, and it looks like she might have a lot more work. And we know, obviously, from Breaking Bad, her and Jimmy can't end up together. So are we going to start to see here before the end of this season kind of things really separate between her and him? Also with this one, too, it's kind of like watching a car crash, because you see Jimmy getting involved. And I love what Mike said here about this one. It's not for him, and it shouldn't be for Jimmy either, right? So the Jimmy bringing him this idea of stealing the collectibles from the shop that interviewed him there, the photocopier sales job. I feel so sad watching those scenes go through, because I like Jimmy, or I like Saul. I always kind of have, but I always just kind of wish, and see, that's the thing about this one, and watching it like being like a car crash, because you see how things could really go right for Jimmy here in his life. Kim's doing really well. He doesn't really have to do a whole lot, to be honest. If she's going to be expanding, or she's going to be getting a lot of work from this, he could just work, he could do it straight. He's good at sales. If he would have just taken the photocopier job like he had landed and just done it, right, and just gone straight with it, then he would have done just fine. So I'm not sure if Kim is upset because she knows how this is going to affect Jimmy, or that she feels like Jimmy is not being authentic with his reaction to losing Chuck, and that he's just kind of like, acting like he's happy and like he's good and he's looking for jobs and he's doing all this stuff, when really he's not all together, and he doesn't have it all together, and he's just pretending or putting on a face or putting on a facade that he's got everything going well and everything is together, when it really isn't. So so that's kind of why I love seeing Better Call Saul. I enjoy watching it, but because we know, it's very strange to watch it as a prequel, because we know how these events turn out. We already know which characters are going to be where at the start of Breaking Bad, and what's going to happen with that. So, in some way, it's definitely fun to watch, for sure. There's no question about it, and it's extremely well done and everything like that. But because it's a prequel, there's certain things that affect you, that you can kind of, what's going to happen in the near future. And so that this is going to happen, and it kind of makes you sad, at least for me anyway, because I will want to see Jimmy happy with Kim, and Jimmy successful, and Jimmy turn his life around like he kind of has here and there. But, now that he's lost Chuck, it feels like he's just going right back down that rabbit hole again, and he's just going to screw it up, and he's going to lose, even though Kim looks like she's going to be super successful here, and everything's going to go really well as far as that goes, and they're living together and stuff. And it's just like, man, we know he's going to screw it up. We just know it's going to be self-sabotage. He's going to mess it up. And for him, it wouldn't be that hard to just go straight at this point. It's probably not like they're going to need money. If he's going to be with Kim, they're going to be together in this whole thing. It wouldn't be that hard for him to just kind of do whatever he's going to do, and then and help her, I guess, too, and it'd be just fine. But he can't. He's his own worst enemy, and self-sabotage is his middle name. And especially after losing Chuck now, it really feels like he's really slipping a lot. And that's what Mike says too, right? Because Mike says, it's not for Mike, it's not for him, it's not for me, and it shouldn't be for you either. And he says he's sorry about his brother. Because I think Mike, right away, at his age, he's one of my favorite characters for sure from all of the Breaking Bad universe. Because even though what happens with him and Walter at the end, he kind of says it to Walt too, like, we had a good thing go. You screwed everything up, right? And it's just... It really, when you see all these scenes of Mike, it really makes Walt feel like even more of a villain when you see it from this perspective in these scenes. But it's just so great what he says to Jimmy here and everything, like where he's just got that wisdom, right? You think of older people and all the years of experience they have. He sees the connection right away. He's like, oh, your brother, right? This is why you're getting into this nonsense, And he takes a big risk here just to get some stupid figurine that may or may not sell for a bunch. And if you guys don't know, as I obviously do from collecting figures and stuff, you see prices online. Sometimes these prices are exorbitant prices. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get $4,000 or $8,000 for some collectible figure you have. If you go to a con or something, or a Comic Con, I should say, not conning somebody, but if you go to like a Comic Con or something, or a trade show, and you try to sell stuff, it's like, yeah, sometimes you can do it okay, but it certainly is not worth sending in a guy, having him almost get caught by the the guy who works there, or the business manager or whatever. So it's crazy stuff. So I am enjoying Better Call Saul a lot, but it does sadden me to know kind of how things are going to eventually end up here, and that it looks like for me, even though Jimmy is probably so close to having the kind of life that most people would want, he's going to screw it up for sure, right? And that that's kind of sad to watch happen. But how can you not watch, right? It's like you gotta watch. So in terms of score for episode 3 here, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the part of the beginning with Nacho was really exciting in that, and seeing Gail come back. And then my favorite stuff really is what's going on with Jimmy, and or at least that's the part that sticks out to me the most. And it is my favorite, and also saddens me the most of anything we see here is just how Jimmy's just he's gonna mess it up, man. And you just know he's gonna, you see how things end up, and you just know that's where this is heading, right? You just know it. So kind of sad. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought about Better Call Saul season 4 episode 3, Something Beautiful. And how you guys are feeling about Better Call Saul right now. Do you want me to continue trying to do some reviews for you guys each week? I'm reviewing Fear on Sunday night, so it's a little tricky for me to get Better Call Saul done Monday night, but I can, for Tuesday morning, but I can certainly get it done for Wednesday, that kind of deal. Because I'm going to watch it anyway, so, doing reviews here and there, it's not a big deal. It just takes like half an hour or something. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this review, then, let me know. Give me that feedback. Like it below. Thumb it up below. Leave a comment. How you're feeling about Better Call Saul right now. And if you want to see me continue with the channel here doing reviews of the series, please let me know. I want to hear from you guys. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you again soon for another. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon.